that you all have been waiting for.
Fabulous, fabulous. My paintings are based on my travels.
Is to meet Joshua Lenz. Before I introduce you to the star of the night.
Because there is a glass there. That's why I brought it with me. A good painting to me is not just about just copying a picture and here it is, isn't it beautiful? Yes. I always like a good story behind it, really good story. I was fortunate to have traveled to many countries. Here's how that happened. The decade began when I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My country, which is the U.S., was in the middle of the worst recession in my lifetime. I lost my job at an art gallery. Santa Fe closed down a huge number, and the gatekeepers were losing control of the art world. I felt lost, and suddenly I became a full-time artist by default. My friends, if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't be here. I'm offered me a room to rent in his place. He's an artist himself. So, and it's really amazing. So I've been there for about 2.5 years now. There's a stump, a brief thing. There's a stump in the middle of a towpath on the canal in the middle of a touristy town. Very beautiful spot. And so I set up my easel. I sold my works on my easel. And for a span over 2 years, I got to know a lot of people, built up a lot of clients, and the adventure started. I painted a lot of cool paintings from that spot. And it's an old tree stump, it was cut down and I just placed my easel. That's my outdoor studio. So this is one of my favorite iconic scenes. And this is just literally like maybe 100 feet from this art gallery. I love different styles. And I felt like the impressionist style would work best with this type of scene. So I believe it was around the autumn. So I definitely painted very strong little strokes of color with the brushes and the reflections on the canal. You got your blues and you got your homes here. And of course, the little red bridge is kind of your focal point. So that's, and that's just one of the many things that make where I live is pretty magical.
Is there anything that you would change if you had the chance to talk to your younger self?
Oh, okay. So if I were my younger self, would I still take the same path?
Yeah.
Yes, but I would try to be smarter about it. I've always used from the very beginning like 3 or 4 colors, maybe 5 at times, but a very limited palette because I'm like a DJ. I like to mix my colors, and then you can create your own red, your own orange, purple, greens, whatever. Wexford County is amazing. It reminded me, some of it reminded me of Bucks County where I live. Like it reminded me that, oh man, there were certain similarities. And the people were so incredibly hospitable, very nice. It was just amazing. And even the summertime, the temperature was cool. I sold this one to a nice Irish family. I was presented with an opportunity to do so. So I painted this cow at the farm. And when I started painting just like 1 or 2 cows, the rest of the herd came by. They looked at me and they were like, they all walked forward. There must have been about at least a dozen of them. And they just came to the fence and just looked at me. And I was like, whoa, it's interesting. It reminds me of when I hear people play music and the cows come over and listen to it. They're very curious.
Joshua looks at identity as personal history. In his illuminating paintings, he documents the mysteries and the untold stories that form a person's character and identity through a lifetime.